short takes, anti-network, he ain't in a good mood. You might get the wrong prognosis. Meaning you probably get your ass cussed out. Today's episode, passports. Not only is how we're talking about passports, we're talking about the passport brothers. I know a lot of women are probably happy as hell to hear some of these things happen, but this is really not a happy situation.
Can you tell me something in Spanish?
Yeah, adios.
So we've got reports.
It's getting wild out there. And it's been wild for these PP bros for a couple of years now. We keep seeing these stories in the headlines where these Americans go to these foreign countries and they get robbed or worse. And this article is an or worse situation.
All control deleted. Press the button, them boys out of here.
The Colombian authorities are investigating the mysterious death of Johnny Jerome, who was found in a jacuzzi. An American man identified as Johnny Jerome was found deceased in his suite in Provincia lofts on Tuesday morning in Medellin, Colombia.
So a website has came up with some interesting information. Shout out to SenseRose.com. About last year, a total of 25 passport brothers has been deleted from the earth for going to places like Colombia.
This is Johnny. I don't know what his motives were for taking these women back to his room, but he ultimately paid the price, and hopefully his family gets some answers.
Now, why is the topic? I'm gonna tell you why. First, remember one thing. The passport movement, especially the current one, is for people who are not looking for the norm in the West when it comes to modern women.
What's your biggest turnoff in guys?
Probably when they don't work out. Go to
Oh,
the
really?
gym and stuff, yeah.
White men.
So what do you guys prefer in a guy?
Really rich,
Really black.
at least 6'5".
6'5"?
Yeah.
Some say how the way they act, look, dress, to each his own. Everybody got their opinions. So they choose to go overseas, which I don't think a problem with that either.
And in terms of the passport bro thing, I think, alluding to what you said, I think a lot of guys are just tired of feeling unappreciated in the United States. So they're looking for respect and love elsewhere. Because I think what feminism has done is made men not inclined to provide as much. So it's okay, if I'm not appreciated in the US, I go provide for a woman elsewhere.
But the problem is, they're not making it back home.
Tonight, an urgent warning for Americans visiting Colombia after a string of deaths in tourist hotspots. The U.S. Embassy in Bogota urging travelers not to use dating apps in the country, writing in a security alert that criminals are using the sites to lure victims.
People are these men are older, they're partying with these women out alone, head probably not on a swivel, looking, like you said, not researching where they're going, not doing a due diligence. And I don't know, how can I say it politely? Just
don't think with your dick.
But I was a valuable lesson because Obi told me that I should have asked her to take the drink first, take that shot first, and I didn't take the shot first. They drugged me. They called the third girl. They had to call the third girl, and she came in with that bag, and they opened the door for her. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's like basically I'm knocked out, drugged, sleeping, and the girls are just going through my apartment.
there ain't a lot of danger in the world, but you gotta think that a lot of the cocaine and drug came from those areas. A lot of the cartel is still over there, and a lot of the dangers is still in that area. People are still trying to knock you off and try to get what they can. It's not the same. It's not, it's still not touristy. Touristy people still broke, just like over here. You still can go out there to the, Mexico and even Bali and places like that and still get, killed.
The U.S. Embassy is investigating it, right? And what they're saying is that some of the deaths are suspicious. American men were found dead in their hotel rooms or rented apartments after outings with local women.
That's a lot of, you got to research it. When you go to these places, these Airbnbs or these hotels and stuff like that, research it. How many people died in that area? How many people went missing in that area? just look into that type of stuff before you go. And if you feel like it's not there for you, don't go in twos, don't go in threes, go in fours, fives, sixes, and don't leave your buddy alone. You never know.
So apparently they're being invited out by these local women that they meet on the dating websites, and the women are robbing them, or in some cases, unaliving them. And it's gotten so bad.
As he stated, one of the last things the doctor stated, if you go into new territory, it's best you go with people. When you make these moves, almost anywhere in life, if you're not too sure of where you're going, do the research. As I always stated, learn the language. Now, y'all might be thinking I'm joking with the Spanish, you know what I'm saying? But I've been working on Spanish for 9 months, and one of the reasons why I take Spanish so seriously is because I like going to different countries, especially the Spaniard-speaking countries. Mexico's next door, lovely country, should visit, by the way. Do your research, you know what I mean? Don't be no long traveler like me. We don't want to hear about your pockets getting pickpocketed and you end up naked, or you might not make it back. So I say all that to say, with all jokes aside, I know I'm a little too goofy at the wrong times. You need to be careful. You need to think smarter. You need to move better. Understand what you're doing, where you're going at all times. Remember, for the ones who on the dating apps, the ones who trying to get some quick cheeks, you the ones got to be the most careful. Remember one thing, and I remember a foreigner saying this on TikTok. A lot of us is coming from the West. We don't realize that a lot of women is looking at us as opportunity. Some is looking for love, for sure. But most importantly, a lot of people are looking for the next quick dollar. There are crime rings all over the world. And who is the easiest licks?
Authorities say at least 25 passport bros were unalived in Medellin, Colombia in 2023. 4 Americans were unalived in Medellin in November alone.
Learn some language, meet some real friends, go with some real friends, do some studying. Be very careful and cautious when taking these trips. As they recommend in the article, if you're in an Airbnb, try to get one to a major city, not one in the country where you can get kidnapped and nobody hear you scream. You know what I mean? Because if you was in Mexico City, outside of, besides La Marquesa, it's a big difference, because you're in La Marquesa, that's the country. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in Mexico City, it's shit 3 times bigger than New York City. Do the research. In closing with this, without running my mouth too long, Anti-Network. Short takes.
This is 59-year-old Gregory Stewart Owens, who was looking for love in Colombia when he was gunned down in the streets of Cartagena during a robbery in October 2023. Owen was robbed of all his belongings, including his watch and a gold chain around his neck. Owen's family finally received his body in Tennessee 2 weeks after he was unalive. This is Johnny Jerome. He was 45 and was found dead in a jacuzzi in a luxury hotel suite in Medellin on November 2nd. He was unalived the day after celebrating his birthday with a cousin and 2 women he met on a dating app. Philip Mullins, a 32-year-old Tennessee man, was found dead in a room at the upscale 1 Million Suites Hotel in Medellin after a night out with a woman. And Minnesota comedian, I do not want to butcher his name, a high school valedictorian, was found dead on December 11th in a ravine after he had met a woman for a date. He was 45 years old and was beaten to death with a blunt object. 4 people, including a minor, were arrested and charged for his murder. On November 13th, Texas resident Jeffrey Hudson, 55 years old, was found dead in his hotel room with at least 20 stab wounds in his neck. Hudson was killed after returning to his hotel suite with an 18-year-old woman he met on a dating app in Medellin. The U.S. State Department has issued a warning to avoid using dating apps to meet women in foreign countries. Men are being warned not to book Airbnbs and hotels in isolated locations in Mexico and Colombia. And then there's Carlos, who luckily made it out alive after being drugged and robbed after going on a date with a woman from Colombia. I know there's a collective "we told you so" coming out of the black woman community. I can tell you that much. Y'all are going over there looking for submissive wives, and they are setting you up with their non-submissive men. Hey, yeah, maybe stay your asses home. Just saying.